But first tonight, the big story we've been tracking, an eyeball-to-eyeball standoff is now building up at Delhi's renowned Jawaharlal Nehru University. High drama now after 5 students, including the alleged leader of the anti-India protest, Umar Khalid, dramatically surfaced last night. The Delhi police, who are now treading carefully, are stationed outside the university gate. The students say they are ready to be arrested, but the police, who have not been allowed to enter the campus, say the students must surrender first. The JNU teachers are backing the students, saying that the charges of sedition must be removed. The Vice-Chancellor is also caught in the middle of the crossfire.
There is a tense standoff at the gates of the Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi. Umar Khalid and 4 other JNU students accused of sedition over organizing a pro-Afzal Guru event earlier this month are back on the campus. The police is waiting for them outside.
Alleged anti-nationals, protesters, or let's just say students, all the 5 people for whom the Delhi police, the MHA, the nation as such has been talking about are out here. Right behind me, behind this pose of security guards with their friends, their colleagues, their fellow students.
Khalid and 4 other students who were absconding for 12 days surfaced on the campus late last night. They were joined by several students and teachers. They said that they have done nothing wrong.
जिस तरीके से मेरी बहन को, मेरी कई बहनें हैं और सब लोगों को, जब लोग उन लोगों ने आगे सोशल मीडिया पे लिखना शुरू किया, जिस तरीके से अलग-अलग किस्म की धमकियां देनी शुरू करी, जिस तरीके से to quote रोहित वेमुला, I was reduced to my immediate identity. और ये बात बहुत शर्मनाक है
कि हम इस देश के आदिवासियों के लिए लड़ते हैं, इस देश के दलितों के लिए, इस देश की महिलाओं के लिए, इस देश के छात्रों के लिए लड़ते हैं। अगर ये लड़ना अगर राष्ट्रद्रोही होना है तो हम देश की जनता पर छोड़ते हैं कि क्या हम सच में राष्ट्रद्रोही हैं।
The police have made it clear that they will arrest the students but have not tried to enter the campus without the permission of the university. They want the students to surrender at the gates.
ये मामला इस प्रकार का है जिसको डीसीपी साउथ अपने आप डिसाइड कर सकता है। बाकी जहाँ तक सवाल है गाइडलाइंस का, जो मेरी एक गाइडलाइन है कि कभी भी आप किसी भी सिचुएशन से जब आप डील कर रहे होते हैं तो आपको पेशेंटली करना है, आपको अपना आपा नहीं खोना है।
The JNU teachers met the Vice-Chancellor this afternoon with 4 demands. The police should not enter the campus to arrest the students. Sedition charges against them should be dropped. The panel probing the charges against the students should be reconstituted, and the students should be allowed to depose in an atmosphere free from police and media glare. The Vice-Chancellor has reportedly assured the teachers that the police will not enter the campus. The JNU standoff, like the debate on sedition, seems to be a long one. The students have planned a strike and protest march tomorrow. With Preeti Chaudhary and Kamaljit Kaur Sandhu, Bureau Report, India Today.
So I want to raise the big question first. Should the students be surrendering on their own, or should the police be entering the campus to arrest them? That's my first big question that I want to raise on that story that's still building up even as we speak at the JNU campus this evening. Joining me now, Professor Mridula Mukherjee, former JNU professor and someone who's been closely identified with the Teachers Association over the years, Kiran Bedi, former IPS officer and someone who has raised these issues in the past and taken a strong stand on them. I appreciate both of you joining us, but I want to come to you, Mridula Mukherjee, first. Do you believe it is right for the Teachers Association to say the police cannot enter the campus to arrest the students, that charges of sedition and conspiracy must be dropped against them? Isn't that in some way interference with the law and order process? Isn't it better that the students surrender and then leave it to the due process of the law to decide whether they are guilty or not?
Well, I think the teaching community in JNU and the JNUTA in particular, the Teachers Association, has been consistent in their stand from the very beginning that they have wanted that this matter should be dealt with within the confines of the university. Their objection to the police entering the campus is not a new one, and it is not specific to the present situation. It is a long-held convention and norm in all universities, and as Suranjan Das, the Vice Chancellor of Jadavpur University showed, he said, I don't need the police and we will handle our affairs ourselves. This is nothing new. So the teachers are only reiterating what is the norm, that police does not enter universities without the permission of the Vice Chancellor, and unless there is something very extreme.
But there is a case. The fact is, an FIR has been filed. These students were not to be found for a week. They now appear, and the association says that these students, A, will not surrender, B, that the police cannot enter, and
No,
C,
they have not
hold on, and C, that the charges should be dropped. My point is, yes, the university has every right to say that they will conduct any disciplinary proceedings against the students, but given the fact that there is an FIR, isn't it the responsibility first to appear before the court of law or before the police, make your case, and then, as I said, if you are innocent, make your point in the public domain? Isn't this interference in the law and order process to prevent the police, in a sense, from entering the campus?
I think you've got some wrong information, and I would urge you to clarify this, because the teachers have never said that the students should not surrender. In fact, the students themselves have made it clear that they will not resist arrest. Now the issue is, as you know, Rajdeep, the virtual lynching that happened of Kanhaiya and of journalists and of senior lawyers in the precincts of the Patiala courts, which is what actually has led to the development of a completely different situation where people fear for their life. So the issue here is, firstly, if the police has warrants, if they have issued orders, have they asked these students to come, whatever the law is, we have to ensure that it happens in a manner that their life is secure. Maybe it should happen before a court of law, so there is an assurance that they will be safe. But I want to clarify, the Januta has never said the students will not surrender or advise them not to surrender. And students themselves have said that they will not resist an arrest. What you are saying is something different. You are saying that they should go to the police station and surrender.
That's right.
Now there, as I understand the apprehensions of the students, they fear for their life because of the lynch mobs that were created physically in the courts and by some media channels as well, where their names were flashed around. So there is a real apprehension and fear, and you must address that.
Kiran Bedi, respond. The students say that they have a real apprehension and fear that if they surrender before the police, they will be subject to lynch mob treatment, both in the courts, where we saw how the police stood by even as lawyers targeted Kanhaiya, as well as by the media or a section of the media which is already pronouncing them guilty. Therefore, they are saying they need some assurances, some protection. How do you respond?
I don't see any problem in that. If that is their only fear, then I think that can be duly taken care of. The police is capable of taking care of, I believe, and they should surrender. In fact, I think they're just delaying a matter. They're taking law into their own hands. I think the clear instruction from the university administration to them is surrender. Surrender. And let them actually take them to the police station. And they can be taken safely.
But can the police give an assurance of their security? Given what had happened to Kanhaiya ma'am, can the police give an assurance of their security?
I have no doubt they would. They can. They can remain protected. In fact, they should not delay nobody should come in the way of the due process of law. The university should say, please surrender. On the contrary, the university could tell the Delhi police that this is their students' fear, please take care of that. And then put the onus on the Delhi police to duly protect them. So but there is no clause of such an exemption where the university, they can stay and stay in the university as a sanctuary. No. So I think the commissioner has very clearly said, we will be patient. But how long? Somebody can go to the court, and maybe the court could direct the university authorities to hand over the students to the police.
Mridula Mukherjee, is the university being used as a sanctuary by the students to protect themselves from the rule of law, rather than subject themselves to the rule of law? That's the question. Why doesn't the university tell the students, if what Kiran Bedi is saying is right, that the police will, she claims, give security to the students, guarantees are given, why not? Why doesn't the university just try and create an atmosphere where the students can go and surrender to the police? Why use the university as a sanctuary?
You know, I cannot speak on behalf of the university administration, but I can certainly say that it is indeed the responsibility of the university administration to ensure the security of its students. More than anything else, the first and foremost responsibility of the university administration is that the students that have been given into its custody are safe. Yes, indeed, the law of the land must prevail, and nobody is preventing the law of the land from prevailing.
You are,
as I said, the
you are in a
objection
way
to
by not
police
allowing the
entering
police to
campuses-
enter the campus. By,
No, we are
by,
not.
By in a
No,
sense
we are
saying
not.
that the police should not enter the campus.
I am not stopping the police from entering the campus. No, no. Listen, Rajdeep, let's be very clear. You know jolly well that this is a long-held convention and norm which is followed for the sake of autonomy of universities. Police do not enter a campus. Now here the situation is, they are to ask the Vice Chancellor for permission, and it is for him to give the permission. We are not coming in the way. We are saying police generally does not enter university camp. It is his responsibility to ensure that they are safe. Can he give a guarantee?
Kiran
He
Bedi,
should
can you
advise
give
them where they should surrender, how they should surrender, so that their guarantee is there. And who is going to be responsible if something happens?
Kiran Bedi, the fact is...
That's why I said I am not a lawyer, but
Right.
maybe the courts have to be brought in. Maybe we at least need a guarantee from the courts and not from the police. Because the police has failed us repeatedly. It has failed you. Look what happened to the journalists. You had to march on the streets.
Kiran
You
Bedi,
yourself
respond.
personally.
Kiran-
So would you sanguinely send a reporter of yours to the police station and say, don't worry, you won't get, nothing will happen to you?
Ma'am,
Would you do that?
you
Put
know, look...
yourself in the position of the teachers here and the students here. So we are not saying that the law of the land must not take its course. But let me also remind you of the last few days, doctored videos, messed up reports, all kinds of stories that have come out of how the case has been handled. Nobody here is convinced that any genuine case, any fair case actually stands. Surely all of us are at least confused. So at least the students need a fair trial. And we must ensure that. We can't ask them to go and put their head inside a lion's mouth.
Kiran Bedi, the fact is...
Will you ensure that? Can you ensure that?
Just a minute. Kiran Bedi, the fact is, a week ago, the police went and arrested Kanhaiya, went into the campus, picked up Kanhaiya. What has changed in the last week that suddenly the police seems to be diffident? Is it once bitten, twice shy? Is that really what we are seeing playing out here? That the police now recognizes that maybe they overstepped a week ago and therefore want to play safe this time.
Rajdeep, every arrest has its own variables. Every arrest has its own situational analysis. Every arrest is unique. It's like a patient before a doctor. And doctor doesn't commit a surgery in every patient. It takes does a surgery over a time. He sometimes only administers medicine.
What has
sometimes
changed, ma'am, in the week?
puts him in the ICU.
What has changed in a week suddenly for the
situation
police?
like a patient and a surgeon.
The same police which was ready to
Every
zoom
moment,
into a JNU, have they learned their lesson?
can change from afternoon till evening.
Have they learned their lesson in a way? That you cannot just walk into a university campus and pick up the students.
Rajdeep, situations for arrest. Rajdeep, situations vary from afternoon till evening till night. In arrest situation, in law and order, they are very fast moving targets. But in the last case, police was requested to come into JNU. Police did respond to a request given in writing by the JNU authorities, to the best of my knowledge, as it's become public. The point is, this time, they haven't said that. So therefore the police is waiting at the gates. Now the onus is on the administrative machinery to hand over the students to them. If they don't do it, if they fail to do it, I think then they are protecting and then they're obstructing the process of law.
You say they're obstructing the process of law.
Cases have been registered and there is enough information for the police to investigate more.
It's the Vice Chancellor who's culpable. Last time he didn't put the responsibility on teachers. He's now hiding behind teachers are saying this. What happened last time? He didn't consult anybody before calling in the police or giving permission to the police. If he wants to, he can do the same now. It's his responsibility. This responsibility of letting or not letting the police come in cannot be pushed onto the shoulders of the teachers and the students.
Okay, then let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Clearly the police is in a bind, the university is in a bind, and the students are caught in the crossfire. The fact is, the longer this continues, the more questions will be raised rather than answers. The atmosphere will remain tense and surcharged. So maybe good sense on all sides will prevail and a solution will be found in the next 24 hours. Kiran Bedi, Mridula Mukherjee, I appreciate your joining us on our top story at the moment. But I want to focus at the moment also on the individual who's being called the mastermind of the event which was held in JNU where there were slogans, Umar Khalid. Umar Khalid hails from Maharashtra's Amravati district. His father Syed Ilyas migrated to Delhi. He was once an activist of SIMI, the students' movement, which, remember, in the 1980s was not seen as a terror group. He quit 3 decades ago. He is accused today of shouting anti-India slogans and organizing the event where Parliament convict Afzal Guru was in a sense celebrated. His affiliate, the Democratic Students Union, has been considered by many to be a Maoist front. He went into hiding and then surfaced late last night. So how should we see Umar Khalid? Should he be seen as an extremist, a radical, or a jihadi and a terrorist, as some would like to see him? Joining me now, two sides of that story. Swara Bhaskar is an ex-JNU alumnus who's now an actor. And also joining me is Saket Bahuguna, who's an ABVP activist. I appreciate both of you joining us. Swara, I come to you because you've written a very interesting blog in the Quint, an open letter to Umar Khalid, where you say, no, you are not a terrorist, Umar. You are a radical and an idiot with poor judgment of what to say where, but you do not deserve to be jailed, tortured, or killed for that. Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was basically feeling very, very helpless and sort of desperate when I saw what was happening to this whole JNU issue, which is that, I mean, firstly, I'd just like to say, whatever happened, whoever raised those slogans, I don't agree with that, but we still don't know who raised those slogans. Now, all the videos have proved to be fake or doctored or not substantial evidence to book JNU students. There is a letter from 3 ABVP students who resigned, and you have an ABVP person here, so I'm mentioning this, who said in the letter clearly that the people who were raising the slogans had their faces covered. The Delhi police overreacted, arrested Kanhaiya in the middle of the night, sort of almost abducted him, and then charged a whole bunch of other students with sedition. And then the media, some sections of the media, went into this hysterical witch hunt and began to sort of, the more Kanhaiya's case became clear that he was innocent, the more they needed a scapegoat and began to frame Umar Khalid. And of course, he's a Muslim, and it's the obvious choice to be framed because there were 6 other students who were charged with sedition, but only Umar was picked up by certain sections of the media. So I was feeling very nervous, and I thought I'd write a letter to who else but Umar Khalid. And of course, I don't think he's an idiot. It was just, I was trying to voice, you know, almost commonsensically saying that, are you an ass to be on national television and saying these things? Do you not realize that you could get framed? And I don't think these children are terrorists. I think they're very intelligent students in an educational institution debating and discussing. And I think that particular event got out of hand, but the university should have handled it, and not the intelligence bureau and the police and the government. And I mean, surely we have more important things to focus our attention on in this country.
But Swara, he is saying, and you say in the letter, he is saying, for example, that he stands for Kashmiri self-determination. He believes that Kashmiris must have the right to self-determination. He goes on TV and says that. Do you believe, therefore, that his views, as you call them, are radical, are extremist, but deserve to be heard? They do not deserve for him to be called a terrorist or be, in a sense, prosecuted for sedition. You're trying to bring that distinction, but you know out there, if you go out on the street and say that I want Azadi for Kashmir, there will be a large number of people out there who will see you as essentially seditious. So a student like Umar Khalid, is he crossing the line in your view, or is that...
I said, are you an idiot? Why were you saying this on national television?
So you're saying that...
I mean, I don't think he's... Look, I don't personally think that he's crossing a line by talking about... But I'm saying that you're putting yourself... I mean, I was just being friendly and saying that, you know, you're going to get in trouble, bro. That's what I'm saying, and that's exactly what happened. I don't personally think that talking about Kashmiri's right to self-determination, I may not agree with it, I may not know enough about it, but there's a lot of people who talk about Kashmiri's right to self-determination. We don't call them terrorists, so why are we targeting this one young student? And I also think that, I mean, let's talk about other things. Look at what this case has done. Look at the kind of really irresponsible mass hysteria that certain news channels have done. Your channel has run a story on it, has done a sting and exposed what happened. I mean, it's criminal conspiracy that could endanger the lives of these students. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about those goons who beat up journalists and beat up other professors? I mean, you beat up teachers who are, I mean, the most patriotic people. They teach generations of our countrymen. You don't have respect for them, and you are not anti-national. But the students who are doing, you know, who are debating and whatever, and who are talking about the rights of Dalits and Adivasis and are studying, they are terrorists for you.
So you're
the people
saying...
who are breaking the law, they are emotional ho gaye. I mean, is this how we want to govern a country?
You know, you're saying for you, Omar is not anti-national.
Countries are not run on the logic of "तूने मेरी माँ को गाली दी, तो अब मैं तेरी हड्डियाँ तोड़ दूँगा."
You're saying Omar is not an anti-national.
I think that Omar may critique the Indian state. I don't think he's an anti-national. I want to understand what this word anti-national means. What does anti-national means? I don't know. It's been flying a lot, but please define it for me. What are the things I have to do that make me anti-national? Because it seems that in today's time, eating beef could make me anti-national. Asking a question could make me anti-national. I mean, somebody like me who's writing in support of Omar and JNU, I am getting trolled and abused and like whatnot on all possible media sites. So I'd like to understand what is anti-national. Maybe the person can tell us, because they are the ones who actually started the whole thing.
Are you going to hold Swara Bhaskar anti-national for coming out in support of Umar Khalid, saying Omar's views may be repugnant, you may not agree with them, but he has a right to express them. He is not inciting violence, and so long as he doesn't incite violence, he doesn't become a terrorist or certainly doesn't become seditious. Will you concede that perhaps now the nature of the debate needs to be reframed?
I have a question for Swara Bhaskar.
Yes.
Do you think that shouting slogans like Bharat ke tukde honge inshallah inshallah, Bharat ki barbadi tak jang rahegi, do you think these are part of the debate and discussion? You are trying to wage war against the state. You are trying to incite people for violence, and you think that this is debate and discussion? Is this the JNU culture that we believe in? And why does she try to paint the entire JNU student community like that? These are a bunch of fringe... Yeah, let me complete. I did not speak when you were speaking. A few bunch of silly people, a few bunch of fringe elements from JNU who are active communists and who are ultra-leftist shout these slogans, organize this event, and you are painting the entire JNU community like that. You are saying that the JNU students, an average JNU student, does he shout slogans like this? Or an average student from any part of the country would shout slogans for Bharat ki barbadi?
One minute. Saket, we need to first confirm whether Umar Khalid was the one.
I'm not painting the JNU students like that.
Ma'am, just a minute. We need to confirm first whether Umar Khalid was the one who gave those slogans. That's still not confirmed. That's the subject of investigation. Let's be clear. Let's not make this a media trial and a media witch hunt.
Yes, of course, we are saying.
And therefore, if he has said those slogans will go through a due process. But till then, you have already, as far as you are concerned, Saket, you have already labelled Umar Khalid a terrorist and a jihadi. Effectively, he may be a communist. He may have been once with the Democratic Students Union, which may have ultra-left views. That doesn't, at the moment, make him a jihadi or a terrorist, does it?
See, the whole point is, from day one, we are saying, arrest those who are culprits, interrogate them, and let the courts decide who's the culprit and what should be the quantum of punishment. We never wrote letters to the police saying, arrest this man, or arrest this girl, or arrest this boy. All that we said is, there are 10 organizers of this program. They should be questioned, they should be interrogated as to who all shouted those slogans and who are responsible for it. Anyone who shouted these slogans and anyone who's involved in such anti-national activities should be arrested and prosecuted. But the quantum of punishment has to be decided by the court. Because we believe in the Constitution of India, we believe in our judiciary.
Can I then take that to you, Swara? You say he's been an idiot.
Sorry, Rajdeep.
You say he's been an idiot.
The court to decide whether what those students were doing was seditious or not.
That's for the courts to decide. That's for the courts to decide.
For that, you need the people there, right?
No.
Here are these guys who are absconding from campus, who disappeared for a long time, who suddenly appeared yesterday night. I mean, what kind of a drama is this?
They're not absconding anymore.
If you believe in the Constitution of India, you should appear. You should appear.
They were not absconding. No, they were advised.
So why was he absconding for so long?
I'm sorry. There was a media witch hunt that began, and before this incident, it got blown out completely. They were witch hunted. There was a trial by the media. Kanhaiya was abducted by the Delhi police. He was picked up in the middle of the night without any, in a really sort of strangely invisible sort of way. So I'm really sorry. Don't say the students were absconding. They're all back on campus. They are on camera.
Swara, do you believe that it is better for Umar Khalid? Just a minute.
Anybody knowing he was
just a minute, Swara.
I mean,
do you believe it's best, therefore, for Umar Khalid to produce him, to come before the courts, to come before the police, give his side of the story, and let the law take its own course? At the moment, what is happening is we have a media trial on both sides, where one side says that Omar at the end of the day is innocent, the other says he is guilty, even before the investigation takes place. If Omar was only, as you suggest, a radical, then so be it.
Omar has...
Let that be decided by the courts. Isn't the worry
Rajdeep,
that...
Omar is... I just want to say something. Omar is... Rajdeep, look at... I mean... put yourself in Omar's shoes or in Kanhaiya's shoes. I mean, are these institutions, are our institutions inspiring us with confidence? I'm sorry, I don't think I can suggest to Umar Khalid go surrender, because I cannot guarantee to him that you will not be lynched to death by so-called patriotic mobs who think that the country should be run like a football match where
you also say,
I will kill you only.
You also say in the blog that the fact that he's a Muslim makes him a soft target.
I don't know if Delhi police can
You also say in the blog that the fact that he's a Muslim makes him a soft target.
I think so.
Because his parents had said he was an atheist. Today he has come and said he's a Muslim but not a terrorist.
There were 6 other people charged with sedition, but the media only picked up Omar.
There were 6 other people charged with sedition.
Because the media only picked up, there were 6 people charged with sedition, and only Omar's name has been flung about. Yes, and only proof has only been found against Omar, by the way. Only Omar's call records have been checked. Only Omar's non-existent passport was cooked up. Only Omar's parents' sort of associations were interrogated. Only Omar's family is getting threatened, or threatened as badly as they are.
But ma'am, you're forgetting that
Saket Bauguna is Umar Khalid the soft target. Saket Bauguna is Umar Khalid the soft target for the ABVP.
Out of the 10 organizers of the event, there were other Muslims as well. It's not about being a Muslim or a non-Muslim. I always thought communists were atheists, and everyone on campus knows that communists are atheists. So it's not that they are being targeted for being a Muslim. Stop playing this identity politics.
Okay. You're saying
wrong.
Don't play identity politics. Omar must face the law. Swara Bhaskar is saying
ABVP,
at the moment...
I don't think you should tell us that we're playing identity politics. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Let's leave it there.
I don't think the ABVP can accuse anyone else of playing identity politics, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. Swara Bhaskar, Saket Bauguna, appreciate your joining us. Thank you very much. Now that's what's going on the JNU campus.
Sources are saying that prima facie it appears that DU Professor S.A.R. Gilani encouraged anti-India slogan shouting. The statement of another professor, Ali Javed, points to 2 things. Gilani lied about the nature of debate and